Well, what's going on, everybody? I think that I want to do a little quick update. I had some people ask me some questions, friends of mine, about what I have going on, and honestly, not a whole lot. Been at the house like everybody else, staying inside, but as mentioned previously, I ordered myself a motorcycle off the internet. That is the KPR 200 by Lifan. Now, there's about 3 different ways people say that. After doing some research on the internet, they say Lifan, Lifan, I don't know. Sounds better with Lifan, a little bit of a French accent for a Chinese company, but again, I digress. So what have I learned about this bike, and what have I found? What do I like? What do I not like? I've only been able to ride it around the block because I haven't had an opportunity to get it registered just yet. The paperwork for it is in the mail. I did get verification on that. Also, I need to get it inspected. I did purchase insurance the first day I got it. Insurance was very inexpensive, $170 for a full year of coverage, which was absolutely amazing. I can say that I will get it inspected this weekend because all I need is proof of insurance for that in Texas. Now, what I like about it, hey, it looks good. It was inexpensive. Don't know the longevity behind it. I only have 4 miles on it from riding it around the block, up and down the street. What I can tell you though is there are some things that if you are nitpicky, you may have an issue. If you like things perfect and pristine from day one, I don't know that this is the option for you. You may want to find a motorcycle that you can go put your eyes and your hands on at the dealership. But I'm going to show you a few of the things that may be deal breakers for some people. Not really for me, because this is definitely an introductory price motorcycle, to say the least. But whenever I got it in, of course, you know, I opened the package with the cardboard just to make sure that nothing was, major damage. No dents in the tank, cracked fairings, pieces just lying in the box, missing. But upon inspection of getting the wrap off and everything together, there are going to be little bitty things that some people will not find acceptable. Again, I do. I mean, it's just a little inexpensive motorcycle. But the triple tree, I mean, it came scratched up pretty good. I mean, those are actually, some of them are gouges into the metal, but that's not going to hurt anything, not for me. The one thing that did give me a little bit of a pause was if you look right up here and you look on the top of the fairing where the windshield attaches, this is cracked already. Now, it does use the rubber grommet right there and lock nut to keep that bolt in. But that crack, I hope it doesn't open up more over time, because that'll cause that windshield to flex or flutter or vibrate. And you know what I'm talking about if you've ridden sport bikes before, because if these aren't tight and you don't have the little rubber piece back there, these things will shake and shimmy in the wind once you get up to highway speed, especially if it's older. So I'm gonna keep an eye on that. The only thing I found on the internet is they do sell an all black version of this as a replacement, but I'm really into the red because that's what came on it. So, got scratches up here, which honestly, if you put the key right there and something hangs down, that's probably going to get scratched over time anyway. But, until I get my small engine velocity keychain in, I don't have anything really to scratch it. Now, one of the other things is if you look down here, these screws, man, these things are chewed up. Around here, if you look right there, that sucker is chewed like crazy. It even chewed up the plastic, and it scuffed the tank a little bit. So when they were putting this in, they went in at an angle like so, and in doing so, they scratched the tank. And then I look over here, that one's chewed up as well. Now, that's nitpicky stuff. Now, Lifan America, if you want to send me some replacements for those, feel free to send those in the mail. But otherwise, it's going to stay just like that. There were other little scratches and things on the bike. Again, nothing that's a major deal breaker. It came like that. Looks like it just rubbed on something. Right here, again, on this side, just rubbed. Nothing major. But some people, man, they got to have everything perfect, pristine the whole time they own it. That's going to be a deal breaker for you. Up here, got some scratches on that, which honestly, if you look that's where you put the bolt in anyway, so it's not hard to say that somebody couldn't scratch it on their own. Had some scratches right there, right here. Otherwise, the paint looks pretty good. I've only found one spot where the paint is kind of weird, and that is where the brake line, there you can see it good right there. The brake line rubs on the fender, and where it rubs, it's kind of bubbled up a little bit. So I might just put a clear sticker over that so that it doesn't rub that paint off. Not that you'd be able to see it because the brake line's on top. The tires look good. There were no malformations in the tires. They came brand new. The nipples are still on the tread. There's no obvious bubbles or anything. The tail lights look good. Now you will notice that there is some discoloration on them, but that's like a powder that just forms on the rubber. It can wipe off, not really a problem. Now some of the things I've learned with this bike, when you first get it, it's not going to want to run. I struggled and struggled, and this is what I learned. So what I can teach you to make you better at this is if you take and you put in the key here and you listen like we did before, no sound, right? Well, I figured out something. If you do not have it on the run cycle, then you cannot get the fuel pump to work. So what you have to do is put it on run, put the key in, turn it, and you're going to get the fuel pump to engage. If you do not, again, I'll turn the key off, put the engine to do not run, turn it on, nothing. You don't get any of the sound of the pump actuating. So you got to turn it off, you got to cycle it to run, and you hear that pump start to engage. Now, I had to do that about 15 times. Now, I didn't do it off and on as fast as I could. I would do it in the on position. I would get the actuator to actually start pumping. I would turn it off. I'd count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so after a number of times of doing that, I was able to put it in the start position, start right up. Now, starting right up and running, it came with some oil in it. And I'm going to tell you, I ran that oil for a mile, not even 2 miles. And I decided with a quickness that I should probably go back and put some better oil in it. So the oil I went back with was the Mobil 1 4T. That's the racing oil. That's the 10W40. And it actually made the motor a little bit quieter. And that's only been 2.5, almost 3 miles. Okay? But if you listen, compared to what it was before, it took out a lot of the heavy ticks to it. And I guarantee you this, from when I first rode it until now, just from that short period of time, it actually shifts much smoother. Now that could be with the fact that I was putting more miles on it, but I'm gonna tell you what, within 30 minutes of having that oil in and letting it idle and then taking it down the street and coming right back, the next morning when I got up to take it around the block, it was just that much smoother. So putting the Mobil 1 in it, I mean, Mobil 1 in anything is going to be better than the standard oil. And you're going to have people tell you about break-in oil, this and that. Everything I've ever had, I put Mobil 1 in, and then I go back and, you know, my vehicles have lasted. Now, I'm only going to leave this Mobil 1 in it for a truncated period of time because I do want to get the oil out and take a look at it. I did notice that the oil that was in it already had some fine metallic particles that I could see in the sunlight. You're going to have that with any brand new vehicle, very fine, very minute little particles, but they actually glistened in the sun. And the oil that was in it, the only way I can describe it is it was a fluorescent dark green. I don't know. Normally to me it should look like honey. It looked more like molasses with a green sheen on it. So I'm glad I got it out of there. Plus I know that Mobil 1 racing oil, it's about as good as you get, especially, you know, the motorcycle specific 4T that's going to be for high heat engines. You're going to have less shearing. you know, breakdown in the oil. The next thing I did is, of course, I ordered my exhaust because I couldn't stand the factory sound. It's already ordered, it should be here. I'll do a video on installing that. Another thing I found that it's me, and you know, I could be nitpicking, but it's how I like the bike. Actual clutch lever and the brake lever. Go ahead and kill that. The clutch levers and brake levers. I do not like the feel, the shape, just everything about them. So I ordered the KP Moto Racing Edition, of course in red, matches the bike nicely. So I'm going to replace these and I'll do a video on that. Hopefully those have a better feel in the hand. I can't stand the mirrors, I just can't. I don't know. I've struggled with getting them in the position that I like them. I still don't. I wish there was something I could replace them with. I'll have to do some more research. But this bike right here for $2,000, and you got to pay some shipping. Now when I do take it in and register it, I'll have to pay taxes on what I paid for it, which is going to be next to nothing in Texas. And then get a tag, which again is next to nothing. An inspection. You're going to have to go on the back end and do that legwork yourself because you're not at a dealership. So far so good, not a whole lot of miles. I can tell you it's got fairly decent amount of power, staying under 4,000 RPMs, kind of what they recommend to do, because that would be about half of where the power band is. And do that, try to do it for at least 100 miles. Don't go wide open throttle, don't go out there and get crazy on it, because you do want to give the motor a little bit of time to settle in. Putting that Mobile One in though will help. It definitely made the motor quieter and the clutch just that much crisper. Again, could have been the fact it needed a few miles to break in, but I'm going to tell you it was night and day with that Mobile One 4T racing oil. So everything's good so far. No leaks, no knocks, no smoke, no funny noises. Everything's been tightened, and I tell you what, I'm gonna have a chance to get the pipes on after I get it inspected. I'm gonna get it on the road and I'll do more reviews there. Have a fantastic day, everybody. If you got any questions, let me know and I'll answer them the best I can.